13th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Horeb.
Can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, we can't hear you.
We'll try a different speaker.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That was really something this morning. Okay. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, when it works easily. We don't even think about it. We don't say thank you. We just complain when it doesn't work.
That's
Right.
That is correct.
That's the way it goes. Okay, so good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Roy said that he called me, mentioned some type of problem. I said, no, there's no problems. We're going to get right in.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, he's don't know. All right. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning.
Okay, so we are up to 6. What do we say? 623.
623.
We're talking about tefillah.
So where are we now?
623. 623. Oh.
Page 425. That's just 75. 475.
Oh, okay. Very good. We call upon Alan to start off the reading.
That's page 475.
Correct.
Okay, wait a minute. I have 473, 476.
You're missing a page? Wow.
Oh, here it is. All right.
Stuck together.
475,
Correct.
number 623.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. The
Roy's calling me.
fruit of this dinner, divine service, should be the divine service of the deed.
Hi, Moshe Baruch.
In tefillah,
Morning.
you gather the strength of dedication,
I'm in the middle of my shir now.
allowing this life to become the fulfillment of the divine will,
I
furthering
until,
the divine purpose and
7 p.m.
contribution to the success of that purpose which God has set for humanity and Israel. Thus, the flower of the tefillah is the resolution which infuses the whole man and unites all your powers and to be a servant of Hashem. Your attitude to life, clarified, renew in prayer, tefillah and tehillah, should help you towards this. From the start, you should set as your task, realizing that this is the purpose of the gifts of Hashem grants as a result of your wishes and privileges and strivings. This should be the exemplification of your feeling and gratitude and the confession of sins, which when you view your past life, fill you with the thoughts of the greatness of divine glory and favor and the smallness of your own merit. The expression of this resolution is bracha. The verb barak, both in the heel and perform, means to bless, i.e., according to the usage of the Hebrew language, which expresses the designation of an object in deed or in word in the same way. It means actually to bring blessing to some being or to wish him a blessing in words, thus furthering the acceptance of another person, or to express that which which they may be furthered. This is in both the relationship of Hashem to his creatures of men to men, from men to God, as it means nothing but to bless, for example, either to further by deed the purpose yet by God for development of free development, which is the good that he wishes, namely to fill his will, or to declare to him the furtherance in word, namely to resolve and fulfill his will. Accordingly, whatever you say to Hashem, blessed art thou, O Lord, etc., you subject all the powers of your being to the fulfillment of divine will, to the divine service of the deed. When Israel still lived in nation upon God's land, the inner
That's 624 already.
yeah, right. Okay. All right. So
Okay, thank you.
stop. Okay.
Okay, so one general thought is, again, we see that Rav Hirsch is changing our mindset in regard to the whole avoda of tefillah. There's so much more to tefillah than simply asking Hashem for this and asking Hashem for that and asking Hashem for that. Oh, here's Roy. Okay. Good morning, Roy. Again. Okay. So it's offers us a tefillah offers us a tremendous golden opportunity 3 times a day, and we speak to Hashem and he's listening, and we just have to involve ourselves in feelings of gratitude, to thank Hashem for, like we say in the Modim prayer, Modim anachnu lach. We are so grateful to you, Hashem. Ki Hashem ki ata hu Hashem Elokeinu, lolam vo'ed, because you are Hashem, our God, forever. And on with that prayer. You could spend a lot of time thanking Hashem in that prayer. It's a long prayer. All the things you can think about to thank Hashem for. And it says over there, your chesed is with us at all times, in all moments, and throughout the day. We're able to get up in the morning. We're able to see. We're able to talk. We're able to walk, and don't have to go to the hospital today. Baruch Hashem. That is tremendous. And that is not something to be taken for granted. And so the tefillah gives us an amazing opportunity to thank Hashem for the situation that we right now have. And number 2, he mentioned this before also. It's a tremendous opportunity for vidui, to be straight with Hashem and admit to the fact that we did X, Y, or Z, and like that is a and of course with the feeling that we'll try to do better next time, and that's already tshuva, and that is so we got. We have a kapora for our averos every single tefillah that we do.
Sorry, what page are we on? Paragraph?
623.
Thanks.
And so that's how he understands that these are all brachas. The expression of this resolution is bracha. When you view your past life, what's happened to you this far, you should be filled with thoughts of the greatness of divine glory and favor. And he says, and not that we and not only that we get a kapora when we do vidui, but we are reminded of the fact that about the smallness of our own merits, and all that we got is really not because it was coming to us or that we earned it, but because it's because of Hashem's great glory and favor and chesed and rachamim. And so that is Rav Hirsch's emphasis on what we're doing when we daven to Hashem. So very, very important. Okay, 624. 624, we go to Mayor, please.
Okay, 624. It says, when Israel still lived as a nation upon God's land, this inner divine service had, in addition to its expression in the word tefillah, the medium of symbolic action korban. In spirit, inner divine service is nothing but the renewed recognition of the world and one's own life by means of the thought of God. It is the surrender of our very being and life, past and future, to God, who has been understood by us anew in prayer and meditation, in order to receive our life back from his hands, purified, strengthened, and sanctified. Thus did Israel also externally approach that place where God showed his presence through Shekhinah, and where his Torah stood guard, declaring its surrender and sanctification of life to God in fulfillment of Torah by means of sacrifice, korban. Upon Moriah, Abraham had demonstrated the highest example of living, not refraining from giving back to God as soon as he demanded it, the whole fruit of his life, the condition of his whole mission, Isaac, and in him the entire people which was promised to descend from him. This he did in the exalted feeling that our mission can only have value insofar as it fulfills God's will. The task of the people should also be to become, by entering the circle of God's servants, an example to mankind that had departed from the circle. When he received back anew the son who had been dedicated, sacrificing a ram in his place, Abraham prophetically declared that this would be the place from which God would look down upon his people, Hashem Yireh, that this would be the place to which one would come in order to see God, Bahar Hashem Yireh, where his descendants would symbolically perform that which he had wished to execute in actuality, but was allowed to do only symbolically. This would be the place where they would surrender their life in spirit to God, there to receive it back from his hand, renewed and sanctified. Throughout all generations, the word sounded that he would be seen upon the mountain of God, that Israel would wander there, newly to receive the thought and feeling of God, and there symbolically to dedicate their life to him in sacrifice. There, Zion's temple, arose. In Olah, burnt offering, Chatat, sin offering, Asham, guilt offering, and Shlamim, I think, peace offering. Both the individual and community laid upon God's altar their whole being, their spiritual mission, their past life with all its errors and faults, the great benevolence of the bounties received, and the fortune granted for undisturbed preservation. Thereby, they expressed that they altogether belonged to God, that they had sinned against him, though they had received blessings from him. The sustained light of the lamp and the fullness of the table of the showbread showed God as the grantor of physical and spiritual sustenance with which he builds the future, or our future. It also showed the Torah as the foundation upon which Israel's whole life is to be based, and demonstrated the observance of the Torah as the reason for appearing in the temple. The latter was virtually nothing but the dwelling place of the ark, which contained the Torah, and the tablets that testified to its divine origin. The appearance in the temple was thus essentially the renewal and revival of the covenant of Israel with the Torah, the fruit of the divine service life. But the word was not missing in the act of sacrifice. The individual identified himself with his offering by supporting his body thereupon by means of the hands, smicha. Thereby, he declared the content of his life in vidui and todah. The offerings of the community were accompanied by the songs of the Levim, which were full of religious significance and which conveyed the inner meaning of the offerings. The temple has fallen, the altar has disappeared, the harps of the singers are heard no more, but their spirit has become the heritage of Israel. It still infuses the word, which alone survives as an expression of the inward divine service.
Wow. That's the wow. That's for Parshas Vayera. Started with Avram Avinu on Har Moriah. He says that what was the significance of Avram Avinu's act of the Akedah? He did in the exalted feeling that his mission, which is our mission, can only have value insofar as it fulfills Hashem's will. That's the whole kit and caboodle of our mission, to fulfill the Ratzon Hashem. And so even though it would seem that to do what Hashem was commanding Avram Avinu to do, it was his whole future was compromised. His whole mission would seem to be compromised. Yitzchak was the spiritual heir to Avram Avinu to continue to promote Hashem and his existence and his service in the entire world. And Hashem said, "This is what I want you to do." And Avram Avinu said, "If that's what you want me to do, then that's what has to be done, because my whole that's what my whole mission is, to fulfill the Ratzon Hashem. Not that my spiritual heir Yitzchak should thrive, not that I be able to fulfill my whole mission in life, but that I should just do your will. That's what you told me to do. That's what I do. That's my mission. And this is the expression of the temple. The temple is the expression of the just like Avraham Avinu eventually did bring a korban, so like a substitute for Yitzchak, to give everything to Hashem. Everything belongs to Hashem, and it's all about doing the Ratzon Hashem. So that's what the korbanos that we have in the Beis Hamikdash, when it stood, that's what it was all about. And so even though we don't any longer have a Beis Hamikdash, but this is what we have left is the words of tefillah to accomplish the same end, to give back to Hashem in vidui and in todah. That's the inward divine service of tefillah. Okay, 625. We go to Lou. Lou, you got 625.
When Israel dwelt upon its land, life everywhere clearly appeared as being born by God. And when the divine service had no central habitation, altars of the Holy One arose everywhere. As long as one central focus existed in Zion, 3 times a year did all unite there and communally attain satisfaction of life in the temple, which was surrounded by men filled with the Spirit of God and the wisdom of Torah. The only danger threatening inward values on account of external life was a momentary failure of conscience. The remedy was to gather oneself before God. Thus would spirit and mind find with ease the impetus to rise above life and to retain the lost truth, to lay in the future in God's hands, and to realize that the past was born by God. The word for that which was realized and felt, and which held the thought and feeling and implanted them in the spirit of hearing, generating life, would so be thought. Would so be found. But Israel stood before the long period of wandering, scattered and despised among the nations, robed in all national character, hardly admitted to possess human character, having but Torah and the spirit of Torah as its only possession. A crushing of the spirit under the torture of worldly troubles was to be foreseen. A substitute had to be found for the temple and all the spiritual levers that spring from it. This had to be built from spirit and word, which could not be stolen and could not be destroyed. He who desired to raise himself up from trouble and darkness had to be guided by words of prayer that declared Hashem's truth. That declared life's truth and the pure striving to build a future and an honest view of the past. In the long centuries of Galus, the spirit clouded by delusions and the heart pressed by troubles would need to be relieved, to be elevated, to acquire afresh the contents and the spirit of the Torah, and to implant them in Israel through the living word, so that it would generate life. in order to perfect the sanctification of the tefillah.
Okay, wow. The words are laden with meaning, but they're really you have to think into them because the style of writing is very it's not the type that we're used to. We're used to sentences of John saw the chair, John went over to the chair, John sat on the chair. He's got these 10-line sentences, and it's very difficult. Okay, but yeah, okay. So we'll go on. 626. Who would like to be the one who's Messiah in this wonderful chapter of Tefillah? Oh, somebody's calling. Is everybody here?
No, Roy dropped out.
Oh, yes, Roy. We're still on. Okay, we will. Bye. Seems to be having technical problems. That was Roy. Okay, so we were gonna give it to Roy to do the Hadran, but we will go back to Alan. Is the
Okay.
next one in line?
626.
626, correct.
Okay, when therefore Hashem once again gathered his people in the land of his fathers, though not in the form of independent national life, and at the commencement of their long wandering, it was in order to equip them for this, as well as to serve as a pledge of the final aim, that Ezra and the men of the great assembly set the divine service of the word into a firmer form by compiling Israel's book of prayer. They and the sages following them in similar spirit handed to Israel the inexhaustible source of its elevation to Hashem in the form of tefillah, in which Israel of today still raises itself above to God and gains the sanctification of life. Thus, Israel's book of prayer came into existence. In order to transfer into the direct word the symbolic action of the sacrifice and korban, the men of the great assembly of the great synod grasped life in its most important aspects of composed and the various kinds of prayer, namely tefillah, tehillah, bakashah, Tachina, Todah, and Vidui, and Bracha. For each one of these aspects, they achieve purity of judgment and outlook on life, chiefly by tefillah and tehillah in a twofold manner. One, by direct sayings concerning Hashem, the world, man, Israel, and the individual self. Two, by quoting the sources from which Israel's outlook on life is to be drawn. For the first, they mainly use songs from the lips of David, who, born a shepherd and placed in high position in life, lived through the whole range of phases of inner and outer conflict, and was therefore also capable of understanding and describing Israel's natural life in the spirit of Torah, uttering the correct appraisal of every aspect in inspired song. For the second, they use the only source of the true view of life, the Torah, Thus they instituted divine service of Chakras, Mincha, and Marav, morning, afternoon, and evening, basing them upon the regulation of the Torah to read the Shema twice daily, and the renewal of the remembrance of the exodus from Egypt. These followed the course of the day and the stages of life's development, the sacrifices being a symbol of both an expression of the meaning of specific days. They regularly the Musaf divine service for festivals and the Elah divine service for fast days.
Okay.
That's the end of 626.
And a round of applause for prayer and prayers. And we're still looking for Roy to enter. He's having issues, unfortunately. Bezrat Hashem should resolve them. Okay, this was quite an amazing chapter here. Okay, well, now he's going to go to, so we have to have a round of applause. Hooray! For prayer and prayers. And now we go to chapter 99. We almost got the centennial. And this is on chapter on Shacharis. Wow. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, we go to Meir to continue the reading.
Okay, we'll see if I can get this done in time. Okay, so Shacharit, the morning divine service. Okay. Shacharit, the sages connected the divine morning service with the duty of reading the Shema and the remembering of the Exodus from Egypt, which they found in the Bible. It corresponds to the daily whole offering and its most comprehensive of services, since it comprises all elements. It is made up of 4 parts, Pezukei de Zimra, from Baruch She'amar to Yishtabach, Kriyat Shema, Zechirat Yitziat Mitzrayim. 2, the Shmona Esrei, and Tachanun. 3 is Kriyat HaTorah. And 4 is, Kedusha Desidra, and that's Uval Tzion and Kaddish and Aleinu. 1 contains mainly Tehillah and Tefillah, and 2 contains Bakasha and Techina, Todah and Vidui. 3 and 4 contain further Tefillot and Tehilot. The Bakasha and Techina in 2 are preceded by Tehillah and Tefillah, in order that you recognize the living God and understand the world, Israel, and yourself in and from the thought of God before you dedicate your life with all its future and past to Him, the only God. The central point of Tefillah, Kriyat Shema, the declaration of the unity of God, and Zechirat Yitziat Mitzrayim, the remembrance of the Exodus from Egypt. From the unity of God proceed the duty and destiny of yourself and your people, and the event by which history pledges God's unity to you, and in which the only God appears as your God, judging, guiding, educating, and redeeming in the lives of nations, above all, as the creator of your national existence. But the concept of unity is not life-giving, for it is, in itself, not alive unless God first appears to you in His omnipresent, manifold, world-filling activity. You then unite all of the multifariousness as the operation of the only one in the thought of the one God. That is why Kriyat Shema and Zechira Yitziat Mitzrayim are preceded by passages of songs, Tehilot, in the Pezukei de Zimra, which describe God's guidance in nature and history, the transition from the inner to outward divine service. In other words, to life is on some days formed by the reading of the law, which consists of direct teaching concerning life and its individual duties, and always by Kedusha de Sidra, containing the thought that Israel's life is sustained by God alone and based upon Torah. You thus enter active life with a God-filled spirit and heart, and with the concept of life gained from Him.
Okay. That very good.
Oh, Roy just came back.
Roy just came back. Are you there, Roy? Oh, I don't see Roy. Do you see Roy?
Well, I see his
painting.
His picture's there.
This is picture of him.
His painting is there.
Oh, okay.
Maybe his camera's malfunctioning.
Very well.